Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard Keepers. I am your host, the Ref. We'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the Scoreboard Keepers. We're around here, we don't keep receipts, we keep the score. So if you want to get on the board, make your point. If it makes sense, we'll add it to the board. If it don't, we won't. Scoreboard Keepers.
Knock it off, man. Cut the bullshit, man. Seriously. Yo, let me tell y'all something. We live, right? Tell y'all something, man. Our people are a trip. When I say our people, y'all know what I'm talking about when I say our people. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I don't got to be indiscriminate, right? Okay, I ain't got to talk in Morse code. Okay, I ain't got to set up no smoke signals. Okay, I ain't got to talk in pig Latin. When I tell y'all our people are a trip, I'm telling you, man, our people are a trip. We come up with all type of shit. We backbite. We tell stories. We add extra sauce on the things. We joke. We don't read. We do a lot of things, y'all. We do a lot of things. You know, some of it's in fun. You know, some of it's tongue in cheek. But let me tell you something. When it comes down to this law, when it comes down to jail, when it comes down to crime, when it comes down to just telling the truth, right? No matter what, right? At some point, we always find out that at the end of that road is this thing called money, right? Rick James said cocaine was a hell of a drug. I'm telling you that this internet is a hell of a drug too. We're not going to allow people to move this goalpost, y'all. We ain't going to allow them to do it. You cannot be moving the goalposts on this big Meech thing. If you're gonna stand 10 toes down on what you've been saying and what you've been talking about, stand 10 toes down on it, no matter whether it's right or wrong. That's the one thing that anybody can respect and appreciate it. That if you're wrong and you stood 10 toes down on it, then so be it. Then so be it. People can respect that. People can respect that. But what they cannot respect, man, is no integrity, no class, and will do anything for $1. You got people out here would do anything for a damn dollar, man. Now I'm sitting back, right? We watching it. We watching all this stuff on the Big Meech thing and this, that, and the third, right? And we watching everybody, right? And then all of a sudden the stories are changing. People are reading things that's right there in front of them. People are reading this information with the facts right there in front of them, and they're still trying to come up with a different type of conclusion than what the facts state. You know what I mean? Like the paperwork is what it is. It says what it says. It ain't gonna change tomorrow. Remember what I told you. The truth is today, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So no matter how many times you read it, no matter what you come up with, the truth is always going to remain. So I'm sitting back and I'm chilling out, and I hear a new narrative. I hear a new narrative. I see people reading stuff now, and they're reading this stuff on this case, and it's just not making sense, man. It's just not making sense. To an average human being that knows how to read and knows how to comprehend, you should know damn well that if you're looking at some paperwork and it doesn't say what's supposed to be on there, then you can't put a jacket on somebody that does not fit. Now, everybody keep talking about these rules and the codes of the street and all this bullshit. Look, it's rules to this paperwork too. The rules of this paperwork says that, look, there ain't nothing sealed. There ain't nothing that we can't find. And there ain't nowhere where he spoke. There ain't nobody where we hear people speaking for somebody, but the evidence of what these accusations are is not there. It's not there. It's just plain and simple. It's not there. If a person is telling they don't have no new laws out here where these people can't be found, no. It should be a complete seal around this person's file, and that should be that. We don't have that. We got a man that has taken a plea, did his time, still locked up, still not free, right? He's going to be on probation or parole until whenever, right? And yet, they talking about he told on some damn body with no benefits. No benefits at all. See, that's monkey business. That's what they call monkey business. That's monkey business. See, that's how we do business. But those people that's drawing up that paperwork, they don't do business like that. They don't do business like that type of business. Don't go down where they at. They do business a certain kind of way, right? They do business a certain kind of way. If you do something for somebody, they want paperwork. It's a damn contract, something that we not used to, right? We're used to saying, yeah, handshake or your word, because my word is bond, right? Word is bond. But see, that's bullshit. Because we want to try to accuse, right? Not we, but they, trying to accuse Big Meech of telling on somebody without the paperwork. They think they know something that the people that drew the paperwork up don't know. They looking into this paperwork and creating a whole narrative. This is what we do best, y'all. They done looked into this paperwork and then came up with a conclusion and a whole narrative that don't fit what's really going on. Listen, it boggles the mind. Only we do that kind of shit. Only we backbite like that. Only we eat our own like that. Just to get views. That's the sad part. That's the sad part. The sad part is that people are doing this shit for views, man, and for likes. Instead of going out trying to be creative and shit and coming up with their own content, you know what I mean? Something that's truthful. Nah, they can't do that shit. They can't do that. It's too easy to backbite on somebody. Sit back, roll a L, and then just talk shit. That's it. No content whatsoever if it ain't about digging somebody's back out. And then being wrong, the boot. Now that's where shit get crazy. Shit get crazy when you doing shit like that and then you wrong on top of it. I'm saying then I heard this, right? This is how crazy. Listen, people crazy as shit, right? Or they just don't know what's going on. Look, then I heard this, right? Everything ain't in the paperwork. What? Telling is? What do you mean everything ain't in the paperwork? If it ain't in the paperwork, then just by that alone, we can't go for your allegations. What are you talking about? Getting a reduction is in the paperwork. It has to be. What are you talking about? Everything ain't in the paperwork. You want to try to say that he told ain't in the paperwork, right? When we know that if he did tell any reduction, it's supposed to be in the paperwork. So now he got a reduction that's not in the paperwork. They recorded something and they did something without recording it, similar to what Agent Chroma was doing. You're telling me that now they continue this nonsense that he was doing inside of Big Meech's reduction? Nah, I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. I'm saying I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling that it's a lot of podcasts out here that are lying. They're lying for views. They're lying for likes. And they lying for whatever else. God knows whatever else they lying for. Zero integrity. Zero integrity, man. Zero integrity. Here's how I know, right? Because first of all, the man hasn't even spoken yet on some of these allegations. He's spoken, he said some things, like he said, hey, listen, I didn't tell, I never will. He spoke from a couch, right? But he hasn't gotten deep into the details. So how the hell did he just get out and we all the way down the road with all this information and all the shit that's going on? How? See, I know bullshit when I see it, right? And that's why I know that these podcasts out here, they just all about a story, man. They come around, snoop around, get content, and then they'll take it somewhere else and then try to curve the information, and they'll have 50,000 people over there hook, line, and sinker on some dumb shit because they ain't not wise enough to realize what's really going on. That's what goes on. They get the likes. They over there, blowing smoke, and everybody's hook, line, and sinker. And then they'll come around, snoop around, see what's going on, see what the content is, and then go back and do whatever it is. While we be sitting back, right? Because we don't keep receipts, we keep the score over here. That's why we've been telling you about the information. The truth is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So it don't need no revision. So whatever we said yesterday, it stands for today too. We ain't got to keep moving the goalposts. We ain't got to do that. If you're reading the paperwork and you got individuals in there that's telling lies, right? Telling lies on the stand. Those same people that's telling lies on the stand, that same liar, it would go for Big Meech also. If they're telling lies on everybody else, why would they not be telling lies on him? But no, see, that don't fit the narrative. So you got to try to flip it and switch it up. And that's where I lost respect. See, I lose respect for people when they do things like that. You know what I mean? I like just the respect. And I'm not gonna mention no names on my podcast because we're gonna keep the integrity around here. But there's people that's you're never gonna see them on this podcast. You're never gonna see them on this podcast. You just not. I don't care how big they are, how small they are. You just not. We don't go by that anyway. We don't care nothing about that. If you got a platform big as all outside and all this lies going on over there, I don't give a damn about that podcast. If it's all lies going on, I don't give a damn about it. If it's just smearing somebody's name and being wrong, I don't give a damn about it. Because see, the truth ain't for everybody. We keep telling people that. The truth is not for everybody. All right. If you like lies and stuff like that and you're gullible, then you're gonna listen to that shit. You're gonna listen to the lies. And that's where people go wrong. That's where people go wrong. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? When you got a person, if a person comes to me and they tell me about some code of the street and it's supposed to be about this and it's supposed to be about that, then I'm gonna say, yo, well, listen, the code is, where's this paperwork at? That's the first thing people want to see is the paperwork. So where is it at? So if the information don't add up to what it's supposed to, we got a problem. So what did we do today? All right, what we did today is we decided to score this thing, right? It's called the truth versus lies. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at a video that we did already, compared to what you've been hearing about the last couple of days. Compared to what you've been hearing about the last couple of days. All these dates and times and stuff that don't add up, okay? And people just, throwing names out there. What law and what jurisdiction do you live in where the main person who the central person of this investigation was not CS1, the central person of this investigation and allegations is Big Meech. Everybody's waiting for CS1 to come out and say it was Big Meech, which I don't think is ever going to happen. Okay? I don't think it's ever. I think you're going to be waiting around until hell freezes over. And if that's what you're waiting for, these podcasts is in trouble, because I told them they should take that shit down, because it's not going to age well. Because it's not going to age well. Now, I heard somebody say yesterday that Big Meech, that CS1 was the central figure of this whole entire case. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. If Big Meech is the one that orchestrated all of these moves, and he did all of this, or he did this, that, and the third, why was he never called to testify? Why, if Big Meech was supposed to be getting this reduction, why didn't it come up in the St. Louis hearing? Why did it come up that Big Meech was supposed to be getting some type of financial reimbursement from this deal and not the damn reduction that was talked about? This is what I'm saying. This is what makes these podcasts look crazy. They look foolish. Because y'all know damn well, y'all didn't see that. Y'all didn't catch that when they mentioned that in the courtroom, when they was under oath, when they was sworn in and sworn testimony, and they had to tell the truth. Because if they perjure themselves, people can go to jail, not just then, but later also, for lying on the stand. These people was held accountable once they got sworn in. When they got sworn in, they even changed up what they accused Meech of wanting for this allegation of talking on somebody. They said that Big Meech was supposed to be getting some type of financial benefit from the transaction. No. You said that it was because Big Meech was supposed to be trying to get him a reduction. Well, which one is it? Because he received neither. At that point, I need paperwork, because if it's a reduction involved, it should be on file. It should be on file. But you know what these podcasts are doing? They're running around here acting like that this informant was in control of Big Meech's reduction. He just strictly went to her. He didn't go seek his counsel, get nothing in paperwork, and say, I'm going to tell on so-and-so, and if I do this, I need this in ink, and I need this in paper. I already been in here for 15 years. I want to make sure this stuff is etched in stone. Now, he didn't do any of that, right? Like everybody's walking around here acting like Big Meech didn't have any counsel around him. If he made a deal like that, his counsel wouldn't say, I need all of this in writing. It's none of that. None of that exists. See, that's monkey business. See what I'm saying? That's how monkeys do business, right? That's ninja business, right? That's what real ninjas do, right? They make deals with no paperwork, right? Nah, that's because that shit don't exist. And I'm sure St. Louis wouldn't have had a clue. They wouldn't have had a clue what anybody was talking about if they would have brung that information up. Nobody would have even known what the hell they was talking about. But nobody does, especially these podcasts. So what we decided to do, right, is we decided to critique ourselves based on the information we've been hearing. So y'all gonna love this. Remember earlier today, when I said that you might not be wanting to do a crime with anybody that looks like you. Remember I said I'm becoming a racist now? See, I'm starting not to like y'all monkeys, man. For real. Especially the ones that can't read paperwork. Like I'm starting, like, for real. Because this is ridiculous at this point. So we decided to critique ourselves, right? And this is the continuation, right? We decided to do this continuation with us live. Because this is a continuation of what we talked about this morning, right? This is the second part of that. And wait until you hear this information. Let's go.
Beat Street, the king of the beat. I said I'm rocking that beat from across the street. Beat Street, the king of the beat. I said I'm rocking that beat from across the street. Beat Street is a lesson too. So don't let the street beat you.
We're going to find out if this guy's lying right here. Let's see if this guy's a liar. Who is that guy? We're going to find out if he's telling any lies. You better not be lying, sir. We're going to find out, sir, if you're a truth seeker. You better not be telling no lies, or we're going to bust your head, sir. Okay? Like you sipping on something delicious over there, sir. Okay? Like you sipping on something delicious over there. Let's see if you're telling the truth. What's up to everybody in the chat? What's up, Spade 9? Buckle up. We're going on a ride. Buckle up. Ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard Keepers. I am your host, The Ref. How you doing, sir? Yo, I know y'all, listen, I'm full of surprises today. I know y'all did not think that I was letting them off that easy, right? I know y'all didn't think that, right?
Nah, I didn't think
I know y'all didn't think I wasn't going to double up today, right? Remember I told y'all I had information? Remember I told y'all that?
Yep.
I wasn't playing around.
Okay.
Y'all thought, what y'all not paying attention? Y'all was going to just leave? Thought I was going to come back until tomorrow, huh? No. No. Hey, you Big Meech. Yo, listen. First of all, we want to give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High God. Not just any God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That God, that's the God we serve. 1 point for you, sir. In truth. So let me explain something to y'all, right? I told y'all that we was going to have some information that when we got done with this topic, that you ain't gonna have no more questions about this shit when we get done with it. Now, I also said that it's gonna probably, you pay attention because it's probably gonna be a lot of moving the goalposts, a lot of new things. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no telling what's gonna be going on. You know what I'm saying? People moving the goalposts now, and they talking about a whole lot of shit that don't matter. Like Rule 35Bs, 5K1s, Meech had a sealed file. Meech didn't get his Rule 35 because CS1 was sleeping with Agent Cromer and the deal went south. All kinds of bullshit. Only stuff that monkeys do, that the ninjas do, right? That's it. That's where that kind of stuff comes from. Monkeys. right? That's monkey business. That's not how they do business in the courts, right? That's where that kind of stuff come from. When you're monkeying around, right? Not taking care of your business, right? That's where them kind of things come from. If Meech told, you can best believe he made a deal with those people. They got it in writing. They don't shake hands. They don't word as bond. They need your son, they need your John Hancock. Why would they just trust your word? Especially for somebody that's incarcerated. But I told y'all I got enough material to go on for weeks. But I just want to get through this because remember I told y'all, I've been telling y'all something for like the last couple of days that I want to resonate with you when I go through this part. This is part 2 of what we did this morning. This is part 2. We right back. The truth don't need no revision. Remember what I told y'all? The truth don't need no revision. Anybody got to keep coming up with things and keep trying to dig up things and keep looking for things. It's only because the other shit they had didn't stick. That's it. Remember that. Y'all got to remember that. Anybody that's still looking for things and still doing all this stuff, it's because the stuff that they told you already to this point, it's not sticking. Anybody that's coming up with new things is because the other things didn't stick. The truth needs no revision. It's why we can go back to this video right here. The truth needs no revision, y'all, at all. Not even a little bit. You can't go from Big Meech told to Big Meech was a third-party cooperator to now he had a sealed file to now everything's not on paperwork to now it's street codes to now he's not morally correct to now it's a bunch of bullshit that he shoulda, coulda, woulda, doulda. No, these podcasts out here are telling lies and we calling them out today. They're liars. They have no integrity. They have no integrity. They'll do anything to tell a story and to get content just for views. There's nothing wrong with getting views, but damn it, do it with some class and in truth. And that's where we have a problem. And this is where we disagree. Because I heard something else again yesterday that made no damn sense. I got another. It's so much material out there to destroy. It don't even make sense. I'm going to be going for a while. Y'all. Okay? Now, I told y'all straight up. I said, look, after listening to this shit from the millennials, right? The way they look at who ratting, who didn't, who told, who didn't, and then moving the goalposts and this, that, and the other, it convinced me that I've always been right about, yo, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it on my own. I'm not going to have a code D. Everybody that has a code D has a problem. Pay attention. And I told you that if I do something, it ain't going to be with nobody that look like me. And when I get done reading today, you're going to find out why I've been saying that shit. You're going to find out why I've been saying it. You're going to find out why the jails are packed with us. Y'all thought I was just, listen, I told y'all that everything happens for a reason. Now, I've been saying that and saying it and saying it, right? And didn't even realize it, that it was going to be in what I'm covering today. So I told y'all, pay close attention because guess what? Big Meech ain't told, hey, yo, Big Meech! Your name cleared in these YouTube streets. I said, hey, yo, Big Meech. Your name cleared in these YouTube streets. I told y'all. I told y'all. I've been telling y'all that the truth is going to bust you up. stop putting up that material that don't make sense. Only dollars make sense.
Facts.
Only dollars make sense, man. If you're putting up a bunch of bullshit, I'm just telling you, it ain't gonna age well. Now, we said this, right? This is why we can go back on this video, and I keep telling y'all that that truth does not need revision. Revision is for liars. Revision is going to be for liars. So if you're out here running around here on these other podcasts and they keep switching things up and changing up the narrative and moving the goalposts, it's only because they lying to you and they need to move the goalposts to keep you interested, man. And I know some of y'all know it. I be looking around, and then I know they come here and they look around too. But guess what? The truth ain't going to change. It's going to be what it is. It's going to be what it is no matter how you slice it, man. It's going to be exactly what it is. Tomorrow also. So listen, let's get into it. Now remember I told y'all, man, I'm not going to have no code Ds, man, because I'm finding out that our people can't read paperwork. I'm going to just tell y'all this is going to get so good. But I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to double down on what that handsome gentleman just said, right? I'm not having no code Ds. If I were to do something after what I've been finding out and how things, especially during this case and covering this big Meech thing, I don't need no code D, man. Yo, I don't want one. You can't ride. That passenger side seat gonna be empty. You can't ride. I don't want no code D, man. All because of this. So I'm not doing nothing. I get in that car. I go to do something. You stand behind. You can't come. So I don't have to worry about you. You ain't see nothing. You ain't know nothing. You don't know nothing. Even though I'm not doing that, I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. Those of you that are out there, you see how difficult it is for these people to understand this paperwork, and then the allegations and the things they put out out in the world, out in the atmosphere. They put this kind of energy out there, and then they push this narrative, and the next thing you know, your whole hood looking at you crazy. You know what I'm saying? They looking at you crazy. You going to places you used to go to and everything. Everybody looking at you crazy, treating you different. The phone calls stop from somebody that you used to get phone calls from. Now all of a sudden they not really messing with you like that no more. That's because people out here pushing stuff that they don't understand. So clearly, all we've been doing is playing the cleanup crew. They call us the cleanup crew. Because all we doing is be coming around here cleaning up people's mess. Yo, what's good, man? What's good? Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed. So like I said, they, you know what I mean? All we've been doing is going behind people cleaning up shit. So we got so much material, man. We got so much material, it's ridiculous, man. We don't even know where to start. So let's just finish off where we left off. Okay? Let's finish off where we left off. This is part 2. Okay? This is part 2. Boom. Y'all gonna find out why I said that if I do a crime, I'm not gonna do it with anybody that look like me, because I'm so disappointed in my people who don't understand paperwork. So our people are not the best codees. I'm just telling you. I've become a racist in crime now. I'm a racist now. All right. I'm just telling you. I'm a racist now when it comes to doing crime. All right. So racism, it does exist. It obviously exists. It's going to exist in crime now. I'm going to be the first one to start it. All right. And I'm going to show you why. Not all of the difference in sentence length, though can be explained by differences in the offenses for which various offender groups were sentenced. Okay, so we've come so to give everybody a little debriefing on what we've covered earlier. We're saying that, you know what I mean, like according to what we've read up to this point, that Big Meech, he just wouldn't have, if he would have taken one of these deals or something like that, it would have reflected in his sentence in the time that he did. It would have reflected heavily according to where he was in the situation and in the time frame. This study was done by Washington from 2009, ironically, to 2014, the time that Cuffey was being investigated. And it tells you about people from all around the country that were either taking a Rule 35B or 5K1. Okay, the question rose up and came up and said that, hey, why does people running around here talking about you can't get you got to wait a year to get your Rule 35? So that came up in the question that was floating around all over the place. So, and they were debating it. So we had to come with the proof today and show them why the Rule 35B is broke up into two parts. Okay, it's broke up into two parts. So we had to explain that to them and break that down to them and show them that just because a person is getting that could get a Rule 35 after that year that is up, that's the guidelines. You're supposed to file your motion within a year of your sentencing, so you can fall in line to get the Rule 35. And if you get it afterwards, it just means that the information that you gave to the authorities is not going to be useful until this whatever situation that you gave them goes down, which could happen maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years later. We're not talking 10 years down the line. So I had to stop that real fast because there was somebody on the internet that was disputing that, saying that I know somebody 25 years later that got their Rule 35. Well, guess what? That sucker was sitting around waiting for somebody's downfall so his Rule 35 reduction could kick in. He was on the job all that time. That's why I'm trying to tell y'all that these people don't know what they're talking about. He could have given he more than likely gave that information 24 years ago, and then his 25th year is when it kicked in. So he was sitting around acting like he was your homie all them years, knowing that he had a Rule 35 reduction coming as soon as you make that mistake. Oh yeah. So if you know somebody that got a Rule 35B2, you better be Usain Bolt. You better be Usain Bolt because he's still on the job. Okay, because the average years we found out from that time frame until the time that things happen was like 2.3 years. Not 10 years, 35 years, or 45 years. If that's the case, everybody in jail will be saying, hey, I got some information on somebody. I need a bail reduction. That means everybody in the jail will be running. They would have found some way around it. Well, they came up with guidelines to avoid that. Mm-hmm. They came up with guidelines to avoid people taking advantage of this Rule 35 and 5K. They would like after what we've been reading up, they like to have you on the books. Okay, it's more advantageous to have the 5K1 and then to smooth over into the Rule 35 because you get more time off and they have you on the books already. So just because you got a Rule 35 years down the line, that means that if you run into somebody with that Rule 35, you better get away from them because guess what? They've been working. They on the books. The information is out there. They're just waiting for it to take place. So that's where we at right now. We saying that Big Meech don't fall into that because one, he did not have a mandatory minimum. He was not resentenced. He does not have a 5K1, and he does not have Rule 35. Yet people out here running around talking about that he's some special like DB Cooper character who has something that everybody else doesn't, which couldn't be further from the truth. They're acting like he went around some law in order to get some special type of preferential treatment, all because he was dealing with CS1. Who, remind you, they don't have the authority to give him anything simply because the case wasn't even in their jurisdiction. The case was, remember that. So now look at the scoreboard. Look at the scoreboard. We just getting started. Look at the scoreboard. No 5K1, no Rule 35, no sentence reduction, no nothing. Right? We out of the gate. Kicking them in the ass. We out of the gate kicking them in the ass. All these other podcasts are out here telling lies. We're out of the gate with the factual information in front of us from Washington. From Washington. Notice how nobody's talking about that Rule 35 anymore, right? They scared to talk about it now because over here at the scoreboard keepers, we went and pulled the information out. So they're not gonna try to attach this Rule 35 to Meech. Because, just like we said, you need to have that paperwork in a year about after you're sentencing. It doesn't mean that the information that you didn't give ain't gonna take part until, maybe 10 years down the line. But we need to know that now. We need to know what we need to be looking for. So how would Meech have known that, why would Meech know about an investigation, right? Why would he sign for a Rule 35 or a 5K1, right? When at the point in time, Cuff wasn't even being investigated. So you tell me now Meech created his own investigation. He created his own investigation for a reduction off the books. Cut the bullshit. In St. Louis, it was not in Georgia where they would have some type of jurisdiction. And all jurisdiction is in St. Louis. All jurisdictions in St. Louis. All controls in St. Louis. Not Atlanta. Not Atlanta. But I got something juicy on my next video about this topic right here. All jurisdiction is in St. Louis. So, if Big Meech had taken a 5K1, or he had taken a Rule 35, the superseding indictment would have thrown his motion out, not unless it would have been filed with St. Louis. Do you hear Meech running around here complaining about them throwing out something? Think about this for a second. Use your head. If somebody promised Meech a reduction, or if he had a 5K1 or a Rule 35, and it was a superseding indictment, Big Meech, right, would have had to made his deal with the St. Louis District Attorney's Office. These are the people that he would have been involved with for his reduction. Not anybody in Atlanta. They were not even in control. All of this paperwork is in St. Louis. That's another point. And go to prosecutors or whatever. No, there was a superseding indictment involved. There was a superseding indictment involved from St. Louis. which was the play from the very beginning. So they wouldn't have been able to give him anything. So we know that that's a lie. So what do we have? We got Meech that have done all of his time. The only time reduction that he received was from the loophole and from the change of law in 2017. We got that. Boom, check. And now they're trying to put on there. They're moving the goalposts now anyway. Now it's not we're not necessarily saying he told, but we are saying that he didn't do what was morally correct. Well, morals didn't send him to damn jail. The law did. So that's what we're dealing with. Not what if he did this, that, third, and the fourth. Nobody cares about. We don't give a damn about his morals. Morals didn't send him to jail. The law did. That requires you, podcasts out there, to come with the evidence and prove that this man told. You have to prove that allegation. You can't accuse somebody of something and then say they that without the information. No, you're wrong. A lot of podcasts out here are wrong. A lot of them. About that. What all these different scenarios and all that. That type of stuff don't get him out of jail. That's not what got him in jail. Nope. No, it ain't time for him to be a real ninja. Right now, he got to put a 3-piece suit on, go into court, and be a professional and show that he can come out here on these streets. Because guess what? He ain't in the streets in there. See, all that real ninja stuff is why the jails is packed right now. Because everybody went in there with that mentality. Like I said, if you can't stand on your own too, then you shouldn't. I wouldn't recommend you having a code D. Because the reason I say that is because there's a lot of people that can't read paperwork. And guess what? When I get done reading today, you're going to be surprised what I found out from the government, from the statistics. What? When I get done today, everybody out there doing a crime, they're going to look at their code D funny today. Ooh, did I say that? Ooh, did I say that? Did I say? Damn it, I said after I get done reading, you're going to, those that's out there doing crime, they're going to look at their code D funny today. So let's pick up where we left off. All right, we left off at the departures and how much they was getting, like 38% off for offenders who were convicted of one or both or two offenses. Okay. Not all the difference in sentence length, though, can be explained by differences in the offenses for which various offender groups were sentenced. Even after limiting the analysis to those convicted of similar offense types, offenders receiving Rule 35B reductions still tended to receive longer sentences than offenders who received 5K1, substantial assistance and departures for almost all offense types. So that means that Big Meech would have been better off not taking the plea and taking the 5K1. He wouldn't have pled if he wanted to make a deal with somebody. It would have been foolish. If what they're telling you is that Meech's attorney was asleep at the wheel. That's what it's telling you. If somebody approached him with a deal, he turned it down immediately and took a plea. Why? Because he threw. Why would that be so important here? Is because he would have thrown the most advantageous time off right out of the window from the rip. People receiving Rule 35s receive longer sentences than those who receive the 5K1 departure. So it wouldn't have made sense if he wanted to make a deal. The best deal for him was the 5K1, not a Rule 35. Mind you, we keep telling you that even if he took the Rule 35, he would have had to file a motion within 12 months of his sentencing. Cuffy wasn't even being investigated till after, like 2 or 3 years after Big Meech was sentenced. So why would they? What, sir? What? Say what? I know damn well. Y'all ain't dumb. I know damn well y'all ain't dumb. I know damn well y'all ain't gonna continue to go out here and let all these podcasts out here lie to y'all and ain't gonna call them out on it. Look at the scoreboard. I know damn well y'all ain't gonna continue to let them lie to y'all and not call them out on it. It would have been more advantageous for Big Meech to take the 5K1, not the Rule 35. He threw that out the window by taking a plea deal. So now the 5K1 ain't even available. Only thing left is a Rule 35. The only thing left for Big Meech was the Rule 35, y'all. Legally. And guess what? He was, by the time Cuffy started being investigated, 3 winters and 2 summers had went by. They asked him 3 years earlier about something that hasn't even happened yet. Remember, the average time for this, from the time of your sentencing to your Rule 35 is 2.3 years. That's the average time. But a lot of them was getting it in 1.5, 1.6 years. I just told y'all that this morning. This is what somebody else from another podcast was disputing. This is what somebody else from another podcast was disputing about that getting that Rule 35 within that 1 year. So now, as we just explained it to you this morning, we're going over it here in a whole different video because the truth needs no revision. Thumb up the video, like the video. Don't come around steal content. If you hear, like the video, because there's nothing here but the truth. And the lies is getting their ass kicked right now. They skunked right now. 21 zip. It wouldn't make sense. You're literally saying that basically you would have said that Big Meech was on the books for 3 or 4 years with no deal. It's insanity. It's insanity. Listen at this. It says, in fact, there were 11 offense types for which the average sentence after a Rule 35 reduction was at least double the average sentence for offenders who received a 5K1 substantial assistance departure. Have y'all lost your damn mind? Have you lost your damn mind? This is telling me that people have lost their damn mind. And acting like Big Meech didn't have counsel to tell him that would have been horrible for him to give up his 5K1 for that Rule 35 shit. It's like jumping out of a Lamborghini into a Volkswagen Bug. Jumping out of a Lamborghini to a Volkswagen Bug. For example, robbery offenders with a Rule 35B reduction received an average sentence of 102 months, and the offender with the 5K1 reduction received an average sentence of 51 months. Cut in half. Damn it. I said cut in half. Are you? That is cut in half. What are we talking about here? Like literally, what are we talking about here? This is coming from Washington, people. This is from Washington. The people that make these laws. What are we actually talking about here? Any attorney, any counsel would know that if Meech was looking for a deal, his best opportunity to make a deal was prior to him taking a plea. He took the plea, got it out of the way. He was cool. He said, give me the 30. Give me the 300 months. I'm cool. Don't nobody ask me for nothing. I'm pleading out. So you ain't got to offer me no deal. Now, this is when these YouTubers out here try to turn him into DB Cooper. They tried to turn him into DB Cooper like he jumped out of the plane and disappeared with all the money. And don't nobody know where the hell he at. I'm calling bullshit. Because it don't make good legal sense. Now all of a sudden they can't find the paperwork. Oh, it's sealed. No, it's not. CS1 was outed in the Franks. Why would they hide him? No, all you have is a mention of Meech's name. That's it. Name dropping. That's it. That's all you have is a name drop from a liar, a known liar. But skip all that. Let's just talk about that. If Meech wanted to get his sentence cut in half, he would have taken the 5K1. And let me tell you something. It would behoove me to not think that it was probably offered. He probably said, "Get the hell out of here. Give me my 30. I'm pleading right now because I'm not doing nothing. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. I'm not. Listen, send me back to myself. Take me back to myself." Mm-hmm. Why would he do that when counsel would have told? I'm pretty sure the prosecution told him too. That if you don't take this deal now, we can't give you much off over on the 35B. Because it ain't worth a damn. And neither is 35A. They like broken down cars to a Bentley. The 5K1 is a Bentley. 35B, 35A is hoopties, buckets. And I'm just showing you right here. This is coming from Washington. For example, robbery offenders with a Rule 35B reduction received an average sentence of 102 months. And offenders with the 5K1 reduction received an average sentence of 51 months. That's cut in half, man. Yep. That's cut in half. It's cut in half. Meech had 300 months and did 260 of it. That's no reduction
at all.
He would have did all of that if it wasn't for the loophole. If it wasn't for the loophole in the law in 2017, he would still be locked up. The only thing he had going for him was a compassionate release motion. That's it. Other than that, he'd still be locked up, which he is really, because he's still not out. You know what I mean? He's in a program right now to be released out. The difference in sentence length are also seen when comparing whether the offender receiving a Rule 35B reduction was convicted of an offense carrying a mandatory minimum penalty, which we know that Big Meech didn't have. Offenders who were not convicted of an offense carrying a mandatory minimum penalty had the lowest average sentence after the Rule 35 motion was granted of 56 months. Offenders convicted of a firearm offense carrying a mandatory minimum penalty had the highest average sentence of 127 months. Offenders convicted of a drug offense, oh, here we go. I know you got to be in here, Big Meech. Offenders convicted of a drug offense carrying a mandatory minimum penalty received an average sentence of 88 months. Now listen, damn it, hold the hell up. Hold the hell up. You're going to tell me that an offender with a mandatory minimum, right, still did better than Big Meech's deal that he has currently? You're going to tell me that an offender convicted of a drug offense carrying a mandatory minimum penalty received an average sentence of 88 months? Meech's doing 262 of the 300. Get the hell. Y'all need to cut this bullshit out. Because y'all just playing right now. I'm tired. Listen, like I said, I know they come over here taking the content, taking it out of there. All we do is keep mopping them up. After they dirt up the kitchen, we come in, clean up behind them, take the trash out. You understand what I'm saying? And then they come right back in until they can't be invited anymore. That's it. That's all they do is come in the kitchen, tear up, eat, don't clean up behind themselves, leave a mess, and then somebody else got to come up behind them and clean it up. Offenders convicted of both a firearm and drug offense carrying a mandatory minimum penalty had an average sentence of 121 months. What? What? You telling me somebody got convicted of drugs and got a gun is still doing better than Big Meech right now? I know damn well I didn't see that shit. What? You mean to tell me that somebody with this type of offense and a gun is still doing better on average when he took a deal than Big Meech of 121 months? Y'all playing games. That's what y'all doing. Seeing y'all, I told y'all. When that music come on, the scholars come out. I'm just saying. Y'all, no. Not over here. Not over here. We get to it. On the other hand, offenders convicted of an offense that carried a mandatory minimum penalty, but that was not a drug or firearm statute, had an average sentence of 57 months. Well, that's beautiful. Now that's beautiful. That's a beautiful sentence right there. Few years, they be home. But there's all them average numbers that we just showed you for people that took deals are still better than the deal that Big Meech has currently. We got to stop the bullshit, y'all. Look, the final sentences of offenders who received a Rule 35B reduction also vary based on whether they received a departure or variance. Now, remember, Big Meech's departure is gone because he pled out. Those who received non-government sponsored departures or variances at the time of their original sentencing had the lowest average sentence after a Rule 35 reduction of 69 months. So they had to have a sponsored special departure and variance in order to get it this low. We know damn well that ain't Big Meech, because St. Louis wasn't dealing with Big Meech. They wasn't even dealing with CS1 and Keith Cromer. They just called him on the phone. And they didn't have him in there until the Franks hearing came up. They didn't have him in there until the Franks hearing came up, and then it had to be about some, felonious things that was going on. So they really didn't need them either. They was just looking for the probable cause, then went about their business. This was followed by one offender who received a government-sponsored below-range sentence at their original sentence, but who did not receive a 5K1 substantial assistance departure, 79 months, and two offenders who originally received a 5K1 substantial assistance departure and later received a Rule 35B reduction, 85 months. That was 85 months. The highest average sentence was received by offenders who were originally sentenced above the guideline range of 96 months. Now, we know Big Meech was sentenced in the guideline range. Okay? So he would have been looking at something sweet. Big Meech would have been looking at something sweet. And I'm just saying, he had 15, right? He could have been, man, look, I'm looking at like 12 to 15 right now. I'm looking at like, if he would have done a deal back here when this was going on, remind you, this whole entire thing was done from 2009 to 2014. Ironically, the same time they was doing the whole Cuffy thing, man. Ain't that ironic? That's how the Most High God work, man. That's why this fell in our lap. I'm just telling you that, you know what I mean? Like Big Meech would have been he would have been home like maybe 10 years ago. Man, if he would have came home 10 years ago, then all this stuff right now that everybody talking about, hey, listen, it would have been worth looking into. But the fact that he still ain't home, and we out here and we out here to gotta clean up because a lot of people out here talking crazy, talking nonsense because they can't understand paperwork. No, man, this is bullshit. And like I said, I'm not gonna have no codees that look like me. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not having no codees that look like me. If you're a codee and you look like me, I'm going that way. I'm telling you right now, especially today, because we can't read paperwork. Period. Point blank. We emotional. It's a whole lot of emotion and acting off of emotion, and that's when judgment gets clouded. I don't need nobody at all. At all. Nobody. If you look like me, you won't be a codee. That emotional around me when things is going down. No, hell to the no. And you're going to find out why in a few minutes. When I get done this, you're going to find out why I've been saying that. Ironically, I didn't realize it was right here. Finally, a small group of offenders. This is going to blow your mind. This is going to blow your mind. We racist now. If you look like me, you won't be a codee. 153 or 1.4% who originally received a sentence of life imprisonment or a de facto sentence of life imprisonment later received a Rule 35 reduction. Most of these offenders were convicted of a drug trafficking offense. What? So I know we're going to find Big Meech up in here somewhere, right? Most of these offenders were convicted of a drug trafficking offense, 99 or 64.7%. Drug offenses were followed in frequency by firearm offenses, 26 or 17%, and murder, 12 or 7.8%. 5 of these offenders had their sentences reduced, but still received a de facto sentence of life imprisonment. Excluding these 5 offenders, the average new sentence for offenders who were originally sentenced to life imprisonment was 256 months. The lowest sentence was 34 months and the highest was 420 months. Listen at this shit. Big Meech is still doing 262 months of his 300. He's still doing more than these people right here. Y'all bugging. Yo, man. Rick James said cocaine is a hell of a drug, man. Because y'all bugging. And that's because these people know these stats and y'all don't. Period. That's why y'all keep talking this nonsense. This is why I keep telling y'all the jails are filled with us. Because we don't know what we talking about. That's why. It's emotional. Rants. I don't know why. But damn it, if you can't read this paperwork and understand it, you need to let somebody else do it for you. How does final sentence length vary by jurisdiction? Watch this, y'all. There are again notable variations throughout districts in the length of sentences for offenders who receive a Rule 35B reduction. In 20 districts, offenders receiving Rule 35B sentencing reduction had an average sentence of over 100 months. You damn right. Meech had 300. Meech had 300. The districts with the highest average sentences were the Southern District of Indiana, 118 months, and the Western District of Louisiana, 117 months. Only 6 districts had an average sentences less than 50 months. The lowest average sentence for offenders who received the Rule 35 sentencing reduction was the District of Idaho. Don't nobody live out there. Ain't shit going on. Was the district, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just think about it. The District of Idaho, where the average sentence was 26 months.
Crazy.
Damn it, a year. 2 years.
Crazy.
For good time. A year for good time. I mean, shit. I mean, it's crazy. Looking at circuit-wide data, offenders receiving a Rule 35B sentencing reduction in the district court for the District of Columbia had the highest average sentence, 101 months. Wow. Wow. District of Columbia had the highest average sentencing of 101 months, followed by offenders in the district courts within the 7th and 4th circuits, 94 and 92 months respectively. Offenders sentenced in district courts within the 9th circuit received the lowest average sentence, 65 months, followed by offenders sentenced in the district courts within the 1st and 8th circuits, 68 and 70 months respectively. So them numbers, like I said, I know them numbers would have looked beautiful to Big Meech. What? That's paradise right there. What? He would have been home. As with analysis of Rule 35B, offenders' sentences overall, the district variations in sentence length appear to be closely connected to the type of offenses at issue. For example, in the jurisdiction with the longest average sentences, 57.9% of offenders receiving a Rule 35B reduction in the Southern District of Indiana were convicted of an offense carrying a mandatory minimum penalty, and 85.2% of those in the Western District of Louisiana were convicted of such an offense. By contrast, in the District of Idaho, which had the shortest average sentence after a Rule 35B motion was granted, 33.3% of the offenders receiving the Rule 35B reduction were convicted of offenses with a mandatory minimum penalty. Ain't that some shit? And Big Meech didn't even have a mandatory minimum.
Nope.
What is the extent of the average Rule 35B sentencing reduction when compared with 5K1 substantial assistance departures? Well, we're going to love this. We're going to love this right here. We're going to love this right here. Y'all ready? Y'all with me? Y'all with me? Yo, because it's going down right now. It's going down. Check it out. Get me a little sip. Overall, offenders received a smaller sentence reduction for Rule 35B motions than for 5K1 substantial assistance motions. Okay, do y'all understand that? Big Meech's counsel would have told him that. Okay, because he did have an attorney. Okay, as he should. He wasn't just sitting up in there, everybody acting like he was moved by himself. Don't nobody ever be mentioning the attorney. I noticed that. Because they know if they mention the attorney, they got to know that he wasn't just receiving any type of information. Okay? If he was making a deal, they would have had to make a deal through his attorney. Y'all notice nobody on the other podcast is even bringing that up. Okay? Mm-hmm. Why would he make a deal without his attorney involved and get it in paper? Somehow they was acting like he was acting independently behind the bars and just working things. I mean, this is just, it just boggles my mind. This is how I know that we talking to a new generation. This is how I know. Because they don't understand or quite understand what's going on. Overall, offenders receive a smaller sentence reduction for Rule 35B motions than for 5K1 substantial assistance motions. Once again, Big Meech would have been better off taking the 5K1. He had 30 years. Rule 35B sentencing reductions resulted in an average decrease of 37.1% from the original sentence, compared with a decrease of 52.6% from the bottom of the original guidelines range for the 5K1 departures. What the hell are we talking about? What are we talking about? What the hell are we talking about? Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. What are we actually talking about here? A joke. Rule 35B sentence reductions result in an average decrease of 37.1% from the original sentence, compared with a decrease of 52.6% from the bottom of the original guidelines range for 5K1 departure. Ain't no doubt which would have been the best from Big Meech. Ain't no doubt. The relatively lower benefit rule from the relatively lower benefit from a Rule 35B motion holds true regardless of where the offender's first sentence fell in the recommended guideline range and whether the offender received a departure of any sort. Offenders who received a 5K1 departure during their original sentencing and subsequently received a Rule 35B reduction had an average Rule 35B reduction of 29.3% from the original sentence. This suggests that courts take into account the earlier 5K1 substantial assistance reduction when given a subsequent Rule 35B reduction among all offenders who eventually received a Rule 35. Listen at this, y'all. This is why I told y'all the 5K1 and the Rule 35B go hand in hand. So they recommend you to take the 5K1 prior to the Rule 35B, because the 5K1 into that Rule 35B is where you're going to receive the biggest reduction. That Rule 35B by itself ain't worth a damn. You ain't, listen, anybody, you desperate at that point. You desperate at that point. If you out there, you trying to get that 35B, even though they still got that, the information on you, you're desperate at this point. Like for me to sit here and to think that if Meech took a deal, his counsel would have told him 5K1. His counsel would have told him 5K1. He would have told him that it wouldn't even have made sense. It don't even make good sense for you to put your life on the line for Rule 35 so late in the game. It just wouldn't have made sense. It would have been a 5K1 in protection right from the very beginning. You got to be super desperate at that point. You really, at that point, seriously, you really trying to get out of there. If Rule 35, because you ain't getting nothing off of that. It ain't just not, you're not getting a big deal, a good chunk of time off of the Rule 35. And especially where Meech was at that time. Like I said, he had already gave up his 5K1 from the plea deal. So he had already tossed that out the window. So the only thing there was the Rule 35. And he was past the threshold when this investigation began with Cuffy. He was past the threshold of even getting in for that. So now they try to say he did a monkey deal. But the monkey deal. He did the monkey deal with no paperwork, just the word is bond with two liars. Nah. The only people lying around here are these podcasts. 35B reduction, but who did not receive a 5K1 substantial assistance departure, offenders who were originally sentenced within the guideline range had an average extent reduction of 39.2% from the original sentence. Offenders who were originally sentenced above the guideline range had an average extent reduction of 35.2% from the original sentence. Those who were given a government-sponsored below the range sentence that was not a 5K1 substantial assistance departure had an average extent of reduction of 37.1% from the original sentence. And those who were otherwise sentenced below the guideline range had, let's see, these are those that were sentenced below the guidelines. Below the guidelines. Had an average reduction of 39% from the original sentence. So like I said, we all see what we're going to see right now, or where Big Meech would have benefited the most. We're going to see right now. Figure 6, the extent of Rule 35B reduction by place and guideline range from the fiscal years 2009 through 2014, ironically. If y'all would kindly look all the way over to the left, okay? Please. We all know that Big Meech wasn't above range. We know that he wasn't a 5K1. We know that he wasn't other governmental sponsorship, and we know that he was we know that he wasn't non-governmental sponsorship. He was over here within range, where he would have received the best deal. This is like this. I want y'all to look at that. I want y'all to look at that chart. Big Meech would have received the best deal if he would have taken what they are accusing him of. Big Meech would have been home 10 years ago. 10 years ago. I'm telling y'all right now. If he had taken this so-called deal, he would have been home 10 years ago. Not 10 months, 10 years. Off probation and everything. He would have been walking around amongst us without an ankle bracelet on. He would have had no ankle monitor. He would be walking amongst us doing his thing 10 years ago. That's how much time he would have had taken off of where he was. He was sentenced in the guidelines. He would have received a significant amount of reduction from that deal because he fell in range to have the best. How can we be talking about somebody taking a deal when he's still locked up? He has an ankle monitor on, y'all. And the only deal that he got was from a loophole in the system that didn't come out until 2017, I believe. He didn't even get his compassionate release. Y'all bugging. That's why y'all getting mopped up right now. This is the bag right here. This is like the bag is right there, but you left it. Yep, as he should have. Because all money ain't good money. All money ain't good money. Y'all see it right over there in the guideline. Meech was sentenced in the guideline because all money ain't good money. And this is what I've been trying to tell y'all. So Big Meech would have benefited right here within range. But he threw all of this out the window when he pled. Because this is why they say that the 5K1 and Rule 35 work best together. So he threw this out the window. So the only thing that was left for him was two hoopties, a 35B and a 35A. That don't give nothing really. Let's go. Y'all really wanted us to go here. Y'all really wanted to put that information out there for us so we could destroy it. Because it's getting drugged through the mud right now. Told y'all, it ain't gonna age well. I got 3. We tearing y'all ass up. We tearing y'all asses up. Stop hovering around this channel, not liking the video and stealing content and stealing information. Thumb up the video if you're out there watching. The likes should match the views. Don't be hovering around hating. Because we tearing y'all asses up right now with this information. Weeks worth of material from like the last 48 hours. 3 weeks worth of material that I can do lives on. 3 weeks at least. That's why I'm doubling up today. I'm doubling up today because it was just too fun to look at to not bring it out. It was too good. It was too good to look at without bringing it out. Because, and the reason I'm right back here right now is because I kept telling y'all, I'm not doing any crimes with a code D that look like me. And I'm going to show y'all why. The type of offenses that issued appear to have some effect on the extent of reduction pursuant to Rule 35B motions. Considering the most common offenses, the average extent of Rule 35B reductions from the original sentence was 37.3% for drug trafficking offenders and 36% for firearm offenders. Gambling offenders received the largest reduction from the original sentence of 66 for 5 offenders. So still, in the scheme of things, Big Meech would have been still doing better than all of the rest other than gamblers. You know what I mean? The drug dealers was getting good deals. The drug dealers was getting good deals at the time. If they wanted it. Of offenses with more than 50 cases, automobile theft offenders had the highest reduction from the original sentence, 44.4%. The smallest average reduction from the original sentence was given for offenders sentenced for crimes involving using a communication facility in a drug trafficking offense, 25.2 for 14 offenders. The presence of a mandatory minimum penalty also had some effect on the average extent of the Rule 35B reduction. The largest average reduction from the original sentence, 39.3%, was for offenders who were originally convicted of both firearm and drug offenses that carried mandatory minimum penalties. That wasn't Big Meech. The smallest average reduction from the original sentence, 31%, was for offenders convicted of an offense carrying a mandatory minimum penalty that did not involve drugs or firearms. That wasn't Big Meech. Offenders convicted pursuant to a firearm statute carrying a mandatory minimum penalty had an average reduction from the original sentence of 35.9%. That wasn't Big Meech. It's about to get good, y'all. While those convicted of a drug offense carrying a mandatory minimum penalty had an average reduction of 37.4%. Finally, those who were not convicted of an offense carrying a mandatory minimum penalty had an average reduction from the original sentence of 36.4%. Meech would have been home 9 years ago. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you look at this, he would have been home at least 9 years ago and comfortably on the streets right now. This wouldn't even been a story. He would have been home 9 years ago, considering these deals that they're giving out. Did y'all hear that? Finally, those who were not convicted of an offense carrying a mandatory minimum penalty had an average reduction from the original sentence of 36.4%. That's a damn good number. That's a damn good number if you're trying to come home early, right? You're trying to come home early, right? Yeah, hell yeah. Well, let's look at the graph, right? Since Big Meech got all these, since DB, well, we're gonna call him DB Cooper, because y'all done turned Meech into DB Cooper. He out here getting all these special privileges. He getting things that we don't get nowhere. Nobody that looks like us get these kind of deals. Nobody gets these kind of deals. So all you're doing is making this shit up. You know, turn Big Meech into DB Cooper. He's behind bars getting all this special preferential treatment that nobody else can get. Yet he's doing damn near 300 months already. And now he's home with an ankle bracelet on. That's the thanks he got. But I'm calling bullshit. Now watch this, y'all. I want y'all to pay close attention because I told y'all why exactly I'm not going to be doing anything with anybody that look like me. I don't give a damn. I found out I'm a racist now. I'm prejudiced now when doing crimes. They turned me to a racist.
Yes.
The extent of Rule 35B reduction from original guideline minimum by the place in the guideline range from 2009 to 2014, this would have suited Meech perfectly. This would have been right up his alley. Look at this. Check this out. There's Big Meech over here at 37.4%. There he is right there. Holding strong at like 40 months. Holding strong. So I'm just saying. Y'all tell me. 5K1 is where it should have been. Check it out. Considering the extent of departure from the original guideline minimum rather than the original sentence results in a relatively greater value to Rule 35B reductions, although 5K1 motions still lead to a greater average decrease in sentence. Measuring Rule 35B sentencing decreases from the original sentence guidelines minimum results in an average reduction of 42.6% rather than the 37.1% reduction measured from the original sentence. Moreover, all the Rule 35 offenders who originally received a 5K1 substantial assistance departure have the lowest extent of departure from the original sentence to the Rule 35B reduction. Offenders who receive both forms of substantial assistance reductions have the largest reduction if that reduction is measured from the original guideline minimum. Boom. Boom. Do y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Moreover, all the Rule 35 offenders who originally received a 5K1 substantial assistance departure have the lowest extent of departure from the original sentence to the Rule 35B reduction. Offenders who receive both forms of substantial assistance reduction have the largest reduction if that reduction is measured from the original guideline minimum. Rule 35B offenders who originally received a 5K1 substantial assistance departure at sentencing have a 53.7% reduction in their sentence from the original guideline minimum. What? 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 50? What? He would have been home 10 years ago. He would have been home 10 years ago, you monkeys. Stop playing. Oh, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Did y'all hear that? The deal would have gotten him home. Damn near 50% of his time would have been cut off. I'm tired of these monkey games. No more. Boom. That tells me that Big Meech would have been home 10 damn years ago. He would have been home 10 damn years ago. Or even possibly before that. Percent reduction in their a sentence having a 53.7% reduction in their sentence from the original guideline minimum. Rule 35 offenders with a government sponsored other than 5K1 substantial assistance departure have a slightly lower reduction, 53.5. He would have even been doing better than a government sponsor. He would have been doing better in a government sponsor if he would have took the 5K1. He played out. And this is why he said, well, do y'all understand? Do y'all listen here? Damn it. Do y'all understand what he threw out the window when he pled? Do y'all understand when he pled with his brother what the options that he threw out of the window? He threw his best chances of getting out early out of the window way back in the early 2000s. And here we come in 2025, and we got all these little chimpanzees running around here, these monkeys, talking about he took a deal, he did this, that, the third, fourth, fifth, and the sixth. Talking about he told on somebody. That's monkey business. That's monkey business. That's not how it goes in the courts. Y'all are lying on that man. He would have been out 10 years ago if he would have took his best deal. He would have been out 10 years ago with the best deal according to the surveys, according to what Washington is saying. He would have been up for a 50-some% deal reduction. They talking about 5. They talking about 5 that his counsel found in a loophole. Damn it, what would they have been saying if he would have took that, if he would have been home 10 years ago? Because 10 years ago, you might have been accurate. Not for no damn 5 years. Y'all funny. Y'all are funny. But you're going to stop this monkeying around because it's not happening on the scoreboard keepers. We're going to bust your head to the white meat. All y'all out here lying and telling lies and doing everything you can to put stain on this man's name. You's a damn liar. And we got the proof right here to prove it. And that's why don't nobody challenge the scoreboard keepers. Everybody quiet as a church mouse. When we pull out them swords and them scholars come out and we pull them swords out to go to battle for the truth, yeah, people tend to disappear. And keep putting that information up because we got 3 weeks worth of information. All right? You're forcing us to pull you're forcing us to pull the information out on you. Okay? Keep doing it. Now, we've been chilling. But damn it, the ignorance is bliss. The ignorance is bliss now. because we're starting to see people that's desperate for views, desperate for likes. We seeing them. They're starting to come up with anything just to keep a story going, knowing damn well the information don't substantiate the facts that they're using. They know it don't add up. That's why we saying you can't read paperwork. In the end, this data suggests two conclusions. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? What's that? Y'all ready? What's that? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all ready. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all ready. Put a 1 in the chat. I don't know if y'all ready. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all ready, because we blowing that shit up that they was talking about. Destroying it. Let's see if they ready. Let's see if they destroying it. Let's see if they put ready. A 1 in the chat. Thank you. Okay. World's best braider. Okay, what's going on? Okay. In the end, this data suggests two conclusions. What's that? When considering the benefit of a Rule 35B sentence reduction, they're giving you advice. They're giving you advice. In the end, this data suggests two conclusions. First, when considering the benefit of the Rule 35B sentence reduction, offenders who receive both a 5K1 departure and a Rule 35B sentencing reduction have the most significant decrease either from the original sentence or from the original guideline minimum. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. So you telling me that Big Meech counsel didn't know this? And there's no paperwork of a signed deal or none of that? And yet you got these monkeys running around here on the internet talking crazy, looking crazy in front of the world. This is why people don't respect us. Because people out here looking like Roger Rabbit and Inspector Clouseau and shit and pulling this damn information out and reading it, and the facts is right there. And these real attorneys and shit looking at this shit saying, look at this bullshit. Because all they doing is acting out here. This shit is crazy. We didn't accuse a man of being a real Zat with no damn paperwork. We didn't accuse the man of being a real Zat with no damn paperwork because these monkeys is running around the asylum. They taking over the ship. What? We got to have order. We got to have some order now because I done seen enough. Damn it, the paperwork, the real paperwork is coming out right now. Damn it, Big Meech ain't got no damn deal. Damn it, he ain't got no damn deal. This is Washington talking to you. That's saying that he would have taken one. His counsel, who I'm sure he paid a pretty penny for, would have told him that your best chances is to have the 5K1 and the Rule 35 together, and we'll see you home in 10 years. Nah. This ninja played. He said, no. He said, no. I'm not taking that. He said, I ain't taking that deal. I'm playing out. 5K1 out the door, right from the rip. His 5K1 was gone in the early 2000s. And then the only thing left was a Rule 35 Studebaker that he let expire. That he let expire if he chose to do anything that he wanted to do. So how could these monkeys come to him with a monkey deal and offer him time off and we'll see? Yeah, we'll see. But get right into the thanks hearing and say that Big Meech was supposed to be receiving some type of financial income from the deal and not a reduction in time. Don't y'all find that a little suspicious? Don't y'all find that a little suspicious that during the Franks hearing, they told the judge that Meech was supposed to be seeing some type of financial benefit from this deal and not the damn reduction that so-called Agent Crummett said, we'll see, and who didn't have the jurisdiction any damn way. He couldn't see a damn thing because all paperwork and all jurisdiction came from St. Louis. It's the district attorney that files the motion for your Rule 35. They put in for your help and your assistance. They didn't need no damn help from Big Meech. They was already on the job. Yo, stop playing with the scholars, man. Yo, stop it. Listen. Yo, listen, y'all. Stop. Look.
Street, the king of the beat. I said I'm rocking that beat from across the street. Beat Street, the king of the beat. I said I'm rocking that beat from across the street. Beat Street, the king of the beat. I said I'm rocking that beat from across the street. Beat Street is a lesson too. So don't let the street beat you.
Don't let the streets beat you. You can't read this paperwork, damn it. You better get somebody in there that can. Look, y'all gonna find out in a minute, right? Why I'm racist now. If you look like me, I guarantee you ain't gonna be a Code D. You're gonna find out in a minute why I keep saying this shit. I'm prejudiced now. I'm not doing nothing with no monkeys. Damn it, I'm not. And you're going to find out why. That is the Rule 35B sentencing reduction generally provides an additional benefit to the offender beyond the original 5K1 departure. Second, offenders who receive only a Rule 35B reduction fare less well than do the defendants who received the 5K1 substantial assistance departure. They just told you that they came up with two conclusions. That anybody that just got the Rule 35B, they don't fare well. That was their entire, all of that, right? They came up with two conclusions and then gave you some advice that you, look, Ninja, if you want to deal with us, the government, that's what they saying. They saying, look here, Chipmunk, if you want to deal with us, we going to give you the 5K1 and the Rule 35, and that's going to suit you best. Because if you play around with us and you mess around and you don't take this, they applying pressure on you. They saying time is of the essence. See, you don't even understand why them rules is there. They're applying pressure on you before it's even there. You on the clock. During your sentencing, right? When you're about to go get sentenced, you on the clock to give them what they want. Because them things got time frames on it. That's why you sitting back there contemplating like, yo, here they come with the McDonald's and the Popeyes chicken and all that. You sitting back there like, yo, they back there talking about giving you the L, right? The elbow, right? You don't know what's going on. You ain't got your one phone call yet. You hungry, breath stinking, right? You need some water. And they back there like you know you're not going home. You thinking about your girl, and is Tyrone gonna be over there later at, like, if you get locked up. You seen how Tyrone was looking at your girl every time you went out. You thinking about all kinds of nonsense. And guess what? If he was going to listen, they telling you two things out of this survey, right? From Washington. The people that make up the laws. They was watching the whole entire time. That's why these numbers is in the database. They profiling you. They profiling you. And wait till you find out why I'm racist now. Wait till you find out why I'm prejudiced. Yo, let me tell y'all something, right? They said, we're going to tell you right now, your best bet is to take the 5K one with the Rule 35 because that's going to fare better. And if you just take the Rule 35, you're going to be worse off. You're going to be worse off because the amount of time that you're going to get from this Rule 35, it ain't worth the information that you're going to give us and what's going to happen to you. It ain't worth it. Why are you going to put your life on the line for like 2-3 years, a couple of years here and there? Why are you going to do that? If you want, like, you better off giving us the 5K one and the Rule 35. We have you home in 10, witness protection program, and go on about your business. You know what I mean? By the time anybody found out you told, it'll be 10 years down the road. Nobody even know it was you. Stop playing, man. Listen at this, y'all. Listen at this. Ain't this some shit? Ain't this some shit? This is why they got lawyers in the world. Yep. Because these people out here just talking crazy, man. Yep. This shit is crazy. Yep. Like now that like do y'all realize how crazy it sounds that he pled out, right? Throwing out his best opportunity to get time off for a Studebaker. Like, do y'all understand that? Like, this is the thing. This is the shit. This is why he's saying, I don't owe nobody no damn explanation. None. I get it. Because this shit is crazy. Me too. I get it. He's telling you that when he pled out, he threw out the opportunity of him getting any time off. And I'm still doing my time. That's what he's saying. I'm still walking the dogs. Accordingly, all other factors being equal, offenders in jurisdiction that rely primarily on Rule 35 sentencing reductions rather than 5K1 departures or a combination of the two will tend to receive less of a benefit for the substantial assistance that they provide. Damn it. See, this is what gets me tight, man. This the type shit get me tight. We should have 30,000 subscribers on this channel. We should have 30,000 subscribers on this channel. And when y'all on them other channels, y'all should be in there telling them exactly what you learn here. Exactly what you learn here. Because see, they watch and then they go take this information and then you'll see it up. You'll see somebody talking about this tomorrow. Because I've done 2 videos on it. So in order for them to keep the nonsense going, they got to do something contrary to this truth. And y'all and everybody that's in here right now should be on the lookout for that kind of shit. So we sit up here finding out that a 5K1 and the Rule 35 works best hand in hand, not separately. So when he pled out, he threw the best part of a deal out of the window. After that, it was ham sandwiches. Filet mignon was gone. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if you got a drink, you might want to take a sip because it's about to get hot in here. It's about to get hot in here. If you got a drink, you might want to take a sip because I'm telling you right now. Don't mind if I do. I told y'all that I'm not doing I won't have no Code D that look like me. Now, everybody in the chat, Spade, all y'all in the chat, I'm going to tell y'all right now that this part right here is going to describe what you've been seeing on those other YouTube channels. It's going to explain right here what you've been seeing on those other YouTube channels. Bumani, it's going to tell you everything that you've been seeing on these other YouTube channels, man. Like the channel, thumb it up because it needs to get out. I'm telling you, I don't know if I'm shadow banned. I don't know what's going on. All I know is that nobody challenges the information. And then the next thing I know, they're talking about it somewhere else. and not shouting out the channel. Now check it out. I've been telling y'all for a week now that I'm not doing nothing with no codees that look like me. What are the demographic characteristics of offenders receiving Rule 35B reductions? Offenders who receive a Rule 35B reductions were more likely black, 44.8%, than any other racial group, and offenders who received both a 5K1 departure and Rule 35B reduction were slightly more to be black at 50% than was the overall Rule 35B population. I hate y'all monkeys. I'm racist now. What? Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. I don't like y'all monkeys no more. That's who's doing it. That's who's doing it. That's monkey behavior. Monkeys can't keep their mouths shut. Damn it, they can't keep their 50-piece. James Harden, we dropping a 50-piece on you. They can't keep their damn mouth shut. I be damned. I be damned. I need y'all to go get everybody that you know, bring them to your computer so they can hear this part. Hey, yo, Big Meech, I need y'all to go get everybody you know, bring them to your computer. I need you to copy the link. I need you to copy the link and send it to somebody. I want to see the numbers go up in this room right now. I want to see the likes go up on the video right now. And I want to read this part again. I want to read this part again so people can understand. Offenders who receive a Rule 35B reduction were more likely to be black at 44.8% than any other racial group. And offenders who receive both a 5K1 departure and a Rule 35B reduction were slightly more likely to be black at 50.7% than was the overall Rule 35B population. They saying these ninjas was taking the 5K1 and the Rule 35. It's us. I told y'all. I told y'all. I told y'all. I've been telling y'all for days that I don't want a Code D that look like me. Don't this remind you of them other channels when they get on there and start backbiting and start doing things against their brothers before they know the information? I'm not doing no. Listen, this is coming from Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. This is the official numbers. This is the official numbers. I need everybody that you know that's standing outside on the block right now. I need them to listen to this part because I'm reading it again. Damn it. I keep telling y'all. This is why I'm told y'all that I don't want a Code D that looks like me. I'm racist now. offenders who receive a Rule 35B reduction were more likely to be black, 44.8%, than any other racial group. And offenders who receive both a 5K1 departure and a Rule 35B reduction were slightly more likely to be black at 50.7% than was the overall Rule 35B population. These niggas is telling. They taking official deals. They don't need to hide. They don't need the DB Cooper Meech. They don't do that. It's you got to take this deal like everybody else. If Big Meech had a deal, we would know about it. They got the numbers on us. We taking the deals more than any other population. You ain't getting in the car with me. You ain't getting in the car. No, you ain't. You're going to stay right here. You're not getting in the car with me. Talking about you just going for the ride. No, you not. I can't believe this, y'all. I can't believe this, y'all. I can't believe this, y'all. And this is why I try to tell y'all, right? Watch this information be on somebody else's channel. Watch this information be on somebody's channel snooping around, not liking the channel. Watch. I don't know why our videos get shadow banned. I don't know. I don't understand it. The information we giving out and the stuff that we tackling is kind of crazy. But now y'all understand why I said that a Cody won't look like me. Okay? Now y'all understand. Offenders who received a Rule 35B reduction were more likely to be black, 44.8%, than any other racial group. And offenders who received both 5K1 departure and Rule 35B reduction were slightly more likely to be black at 50.7% than was the overall Rule 35B population. The next closest was the white offenders, constituted at 29.9% of the population receiving a Rule 35B sentence reduction. Hispanic offenders was 22.6%, and other race offenders was 2.7%. This demographic breakdown differs quite differently from those who received the 5K1 substantial assistance departure. White offenders were more likely to have received a 5K1 substantial assistance departure. See? Yo, listen, stop playing with me out here. Stop. Listen, I need y'all to listen at this, right? I need y'all to listen, to pay close attention to this, right? Look at the ones that's just taking the 5K1. Look at the one. Look at the difference in the demographic breakdown, right? This tell you how crazy we are. This tell you how crazy some of these people out here sound when they trying to break this shit down. This how you know something wrong with us, right? Can't get rights. Just wide wrong, and then you know what I'm saying? Like you got that other type of energy coming in there that's instigating things, and you got to be a real ninja, and you got it's codes and to the streets and all. That's that dumb shit, right? That's that dumb shit. That's bozo, right? Listen, that's bozo type shit. Listen to this, right? This demographic breakdown differs quite significantly from those who receive the 5K1 substantial assistance departure. Why? Because I just told y'all that this 5K1 is the most attractive. So you know, we all know what demographic wants the best, right? We all know what demographic wants the best of everything, right? Why would they settle? They're not gonna settle for less, right? White offenders were more likely to have received a 5K1 substantial assistance departure at 37.3% than any other group, followed by the blacks offenders at 29.2%, and the Hispanic at 28.7%, and other offenders at 4.7%. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Woo! Woo! See, that this is the individual that is like saying, like, look, I'm gonna stand on my own, man. I'm gonna stand on my own. I'm gonna stand on my own. But wait until y'all hear. Wait until y'all hear what I break down, what I say about why that number, why the whites are on that different demographic when they're down there of the ones that's most likely to take the 5K one. Watch what I say, man. Watch what I say. Chase the bag. I saw you too. I'm gonna hit you up. Watch what I say about the difference between the whites and them damn monkeys. Listen what I'm saying. But like I said, it's us, man. It's like us. We take both. Anything that's coming down the pipe. We have 50% at taking both. The 5K one and the Rule 35. So we ain't just on the books now. We on the books later too. Overall, other race offenders received the largest extent of Rule 35 reductions. See, this is crazy. At 40.6% decrease from the original sentence range, followed by the Hispanics. And look at this, y'all. This is so fucking pitiful. This is so pitiful. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all listening right now. Because I'm about to tell y'all the most disappointing shit in here. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all listening, y'all hear me. I need to see a 1 in the chat, man. Just 1, man. Just so I know you. All right, good looking 3-1. Good looking 3-1. Listen at this shit. Men and women lie, numbers don't. Overall, other races received the largest extent of Rule 35 reduction, 40.6 decrease from the original sentencing range, followed by the Hispanics, 37.2. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. Black offenders, 37.0, and white offenders, 36.8. We doing all of this cooperating, yet in the overall reduction, we lower than the other races. They doing all this cooperating, and this is where it got them. 1% from being in last place. I want y'all to pay close attention. Yes, thanks for that 1, Speed. They 50% of the cooperatives, right? But damn near last in the reduction time. This is what's so pitiful about what's going on right now. Why do you look, this room should be 10,000 people in here right now. And it's not. This truth ain't for everybody, man. I'm just telling y'all. I don't know if they got a shadow ban. I don't know what the hell going on. I don't know. All I know is this. Is we 50% in the cooperatives, right? And damn it, they the lowest in receiving the reward. But it just don't stop there. It gets even worse. My Cody would never look like me. I'm telling you right now. My Cody is not going to look like me, man. I can go ape around all by myself, man. You not getting in the car with me. No. Just listen at this though. Watch this. It's even more depressing. How the hell you taking both and still your number is only 37%? Similarly, other race offenders had the largest extent of departure for 5K1 substantial assistance departures at 58.8. White offenders had the second highest at 55.4, followed by blacks at 50%, and Hispanic offenders at 49.6. We're not getting the money. Listen, that money not coming back right. We're not getting the best buck. We're not getting it. We're not getting the best deal for our money. We crazy, man. We are absolutely insane. We're not even getting the best deal. Nope. They doing all that cooperating and 1 point from the damn last place when it comes to the reductions. That's coming from Washington, y'all.
Get out of here, man.
The majority of Rule 35B offenders were United States citizens, 85.3. I bet you 60% of that are African Americans, which was slightly higher than the percentage of United States citizens receiving a 5K1 substantial assistance departure, 82.2%. There was relatively little difference in the extent of departure between these two groups, as United States citizens received an average Rule 35B reduction of 37.2% as compared to 36.7% of non-citizens. Now, and I want to tell y'all something, right? And I want to tell y'all something about the difference in why that disparaging numbers was there, right? Between the blacks at 50%, and then when it comes down to just a 5K1, the whites led in the 5K1 department. Do y'all know why that is? Does anybody in the chat know why that is? I'm just curious because I want to just blurt it out right now. Does anybody know why that number was so big that the blacks was 50%, the highest, and like taking both the 501K, the 5K1, and the Rule 35? They were just taking anything that would be coming down the pike. Do y'all know why they were so high in that, but then the lowest in taking the 5K1? Does anybody know that? Don't know why the whites led in taking the 5K1s? Anybody in the chat? You can put it in the chat, whatever you think. Like, does anybody have any idea why those numbers were so different? Why the whites led in that department, yet the blacks led up top and taking whatever? Straight up coming from Washington too, Spade. Straight up coming from Washington. But I'm just curious. I know why. But I'm just curious if anybody out here knows why that number and why it's so different in the number when the blacks is. Let me see. Does anybody know? I'm just curious. I need anybody out there that can answer my question. If you don't know, just say no. If you want to know, you know what I mean? If you don't know, just say no. If you don't, do you have an idea why those numbers are so different? That now we found out that it's 50% of the blacks is telling. The question is this: do you know why the difference in the numbers? Why the blacks were 50%? They were the highest number in taking both, because both of the 5K1 and the Rule 35 together. They was the highest number in that. But then when it came down to just the 5K1, they were like almost damn near the lowest. They was almost damn near the lowest in that and the lowest in receiving the reduction. No, negative, Q-Mon, negative. I'm gonna just tell y'all. The reason is because the white man knows what the best deal is for him. The white man knew that the 5K1 was the best deal. He was thinking business. The white man knew the white man knows that the 5K1 is the best deal. That's why those numbers, right? That's why the reduction, that's why they was almost last in getting the reduction time. Because the white man was getting the best reduction time because he was taking the best deal. The blacks was just taking anything. They was just taking anything, and most of them was, when they said they was taking anything together, when you put them together, like they was incorporating both 5K1s and Rule 35s. They should have broken down how many people was taking the Rule 35 just by itself too. So basically, the ninjas wasn't even, they wasn't taking the best deals. The white man was, even though he didn't even rule in the overall taking deals. He was still in the he wasn't leading in the overall taking deals, but yet he was leading in the most reduction time. Nope, it wasn't. Race man played somewhere in there, but it wasn't just that. When you look at these numbers right here, it says that the whites was taking the 5K1s. Yeah, the whites were taking the 5K1s. They don't want nothing to do with the Rule 35. The white man was going to damn sure make sure that his 5K1 and his Rule 35 was hand in hand, where he can get the most significant amount of time off. And it's crazy. Listen, man, I'm telling you, it's terrible. It's terrible. Non-citizens getting a better deal, man. The majority of Rule 35B offenders were male, 88.1%, which was higher than the percentage of male offenders who received a 5K1 substantial assistance departure of 81%. 81. Female offenders received a slightly larger extent of Rule 35B reductions at 38.9 than did the male offenders at 36.9. This is ridiculous, y'all. Yeah. This is ridiculous. Like, I'm embarrassed. Yeah. I'm truly embarrassed, because how in the hell are they doing all that telling, and that's what's going on. So we at the conclusion, right? Right? We're going to stop after the conclusion, because I told you y'all can't handle too much of this at one time. All I know is that we crushing that other stuff that you heard. We done smashed it. Super smashing it. Super smashing. Bulldozing is what we call it. Bulldoze. Watch this. The conclusion. Bulldozing the bullshit. Offenders who cooperate with the government in its efforts to prosecute others can receive credit for their substantial assistance in at least two ways: the 5K1, substantial assistance departure, and a post-sentencing Rule 35B reduction. Even though the Rule 35B sentence reduction have accounted for up to 18% of all substantial assistance sentencing reductions for offenders sentenced in a given year, they have received relatively little study, at least in comparison to the 5K1 departures. 5K1 is busting they ass. It's busting they ass. Major finding: Meech gave up to 5K1 when he pled. If anybody out here still thinking that he took a deal, you're a moron. You got to be a moron. You got to be a moron if you still thinking after this information that he took a deal without his counsel present and with a lying informant. You're only a moron. Only a moron would continue to talk about those kind of things. And I would never want to be a follower of that kind of nonsense, man. That's why y'all should be sharing this video everywhere. A review of 10,811 cases in which Rule 35B reductions were granted over the past 6 years suggests the following conclusions. Pay attention. Yep, I want to hear it. Rule 35B sentence reductions are used relatively rarely, but a few districts make frequent use of Rule 35B sentence reductions. There is no clear data-based explanation for these differences, as these districts vary substantially from one another in overall caseload offense mix, and demographic composition. Most offenders receiving a Rule 35B reduction were originally sentenced within the guideline range. Yes, we know. So this is why it would apply so beautifully to Big Meech if he wanted it, right? But still, why would he take that without the 5K1, which would have gave him the bolster deal, which would have cut him up into like the 50% range? Not lowballing them. This suggests that courts are rarely departing or varying for reasons other than substantial assistance with this group of offenders. Most offenders receiving a Rule 35B reduction were convicted of a drug trafficking offense that carries a mandatory minimum penalty, which Big Meech did not have. So he would have even had problems. Did y'all? Oh, no, y'all ain't listening. Y'all ain't hear what I said. Y'all ain't hear what I said. Big Meech would have struggled with this Rule 35 just like he struggled with the compassionate release, because he wasn't serving a mandatory minimum penalty. Rule 35B sentencing reductions generally provide less benefit than do the 5K1 substantial assistance departures. This general statement holds true whether the Rule 35B sentencing reduction is compared to the 5K1 substantial assistance departure in terms of the ultimate sentence length or by the extent of the reduction from the original sentence. The relatively high number of Rule 35B offenders who were convicted of drug and firearm offenses, though as well as relatively high numbers of those subject to mandatory minimum penalties, suggests that these offenders may receive a lower reduction because they are more serious offenders. Listen, Rule 35 ain't it. I'm just telling you. Although Rule 35 sentencing reductions are usually less beneficial to offenders than are 5K1 substantial assistance departures, offenders who receive both a 5K1 departure and a Rule 35B sentence reduction receive the largest overall reduction in their sentences, regardless of how that reduction is measured. This is Big Meech right here. This is Big Meech's best deal right here. Damn it. Y'all heard what I said. I said that that's Big Meech's best deal right there. Now watch how many people be stealing our material tonight. Although Rule 35 sentence reductions are usually less beneficial to offenders than are 5K1 substantial assistance departures, offenders who receive both a 5K1 departure and a Rule 35B sentence reduction receive the largest overall reduction in their sentences, regardless of how that reduction is measured. That's where Big Meech wanted to be. If I was his attorney, I would say that, and then he got to say, as an attorney, you would have to, present that to him because you have to do your job. But of course, he's going to say no. Offenders sentenced in jurisdictions that primarily use Rule 35B sentencing reductions overall receive less of a benefit for their substantial assistance than do offenders in jurisdictions that rely primarily on 5K1 departures or a combination of Rule 35 reductions and 5K1 departures. See, y'all see what I'm saying? Y'all see what I'm saying here? This is the stuff that's bugging me. This is the stuff that's bugging me out, man. So listen at this, right? I gotta read this to y'all. This is the end notes, right? It says that it gives the guidelines and the manual and so on and so forth, right? And then it tells you that the commission to create the guidelines that reflect the general appropriateness of sentencing ranges below statutory minimums to account for the defendant's substantial assistance. This is heavy stuff here, man. The commission began collecting information on resentencing, including Rule 35 resentencing in 2006, and first published statistical information on this subject in 2009. So I'm just telling y'all that Big Meech wasn't resentenced. Big Meech wasn't resentenced. He listen, I'm just telling y'all, right? Because we're gonna stop at that page right there, right? And then we're gonna come back with these, we're gonna come back on page 28 at another time. You never know when. You never know when. But as y'all can see, right? Why I kept telling y'all that I'm not doing anything with people that look like me. This is why I keep telling y'all, I'm not doing anything with nobody that looks like me, because for some reason it seems like we can't understand the paperwork. So this is why I'm trying to tell y'all, 50% of African Americans are taking 5K1s and Rule 35s jointly together. This is why I keep telling y'all that these podcasts out here that are acting like he's some DB Cooper and that he has something that's being hidden is bullshit. We see that the government don't even work like that. The government does not work like that. They have things in place so those things don't happen, which is why that lady that they keep talking about that had this little ring going on, this Bush lady, this is why her and everybody she know went to damn jail. Because they already have things in place that people on the inside don't take advantage of it. So why in the hell would they allow it to happen on the outside? They wouldn't. And that's why when people's ass got busted, listen, here's the thing that they was dancing around. Nobody's ever going to turn down the information. It's like you telling me some information that I want to know what it is, but I'm not going to pay you for it. I'm not going to pay you for it. I want to know the information, but I'm not going to pay you for it, especially if it's illegal. Anybody can walk outside and tell a peace officer something. It's free. But they decided to try to be smarter than a fifth grader to try to make money off of it. Of course you can go and there's people out here can make citizens arrest. They don't even know that. There's a law there's a law out there for where you can make a citizen's arrest. I don't recommend it, but there's a such thing as citizen's arrest. That don't mean you go out here and try to exercise every chance you get. So they took information given to a level that it shouldn't have been taken to, and everybody went to jail over it, as they should have. Because what they did not know is that these people already have things in place for that type of shit. They 1, 2, 3 steps ahead of them. And guess what? Every time they run into a case where people are out here talking crazy, every time they run into a case, what do? They go and they make revisions on things, which is what they did to this Rule 35, because it wasn't so clear to some people. And that's why you had people running around here talking about, nah, I know somebody ain't got a Rule 35 years down the line and all that shit. And this, that, and the third. Yeah, that's because he been on the job for 34. He gave that stuff going down at year 35. He gave 34 years ago, because he ain't trying to do 60 years. He gonna get out at 35 because what's going on with you? That number is absolutely crazy. When I looked at it, I could not believe it, y'all. I could not believe it. When I looked at that number of the number of us that's in there, that's taking them deals, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that it was so high. I said, wait a minute. How in the hell are black people taking that minute. Like, why is the number so high? I couldn't believe it. It was unexplainable to me. It was inexplicable. So and then it made sense to me. It's like, yo, this is the same thing going on in these YouTube streets. Everybody know the law. They challenging even what counselors are saying. These attorneys come on there and give their opinion. They'll challenge that shit. That's the type of shit that'll get you 100 years. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this for y'all one more time. I'm gonna read this for y'all one more time. Damn it, y'all better tell somebody to tell somebody. Offenders who received a Rule 35B reduction were more likely to be black, 44.8%, than any other racial group. And offenders who received both a 5K1 departure and a Rule 35B reduction were slightly more likely to be black at 50.7% than was the overall Rule 35B population. These ninjas is taking it all. They outdoing everybody when it comes to that. What happened to the street code? What happened to being a real ninja? What happened? Wait a minute. I thought everybody, there was ethics and street ethics and real ninjas and so on and so forth. I thought, wait a minute. Where the real ninjas at? I thought that ain't what that's saying. That ain't street code. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. That ain't street code. That ain't ethics. So what are we talking about here? One more time for the road. Offenders who received a Rule 35B reduction were more likely to be black at 44.8% than any other racial group. And offenders who received both a 5K1 departure and Rule 35B reduction were slightly more likely to be black at 50.7% than that was the overall Rule 35B population. And damn it, from 2009 to 2014, Big Meech was one of the only ones that, damn it, didn't take it. He was one of very few that didn't take it. Because he could have been home in half the time. That's what they was giving back then, half the time. Y'all are bugging. These people out here are totally bugging. So you tell me, since everybody's supposed to be keeping it so real, everybody's supposed to be keeping it so real, right? Oh, the realness, it's street code. His moral, this is what he should have did. Why didn't he do this, that, and the third? Hold on. Why does this say that? This is coming from Washington. We got this from the man. This is why he ain't responding to mail. This is why he ain't responding to things he don't know nothing about. This is why he don't get on the phone talking reckless and crazy. This is why he don't get on the phone to do something that could put him back in jail. This is why you don't answer certified mail. You answer a subpoena. Because offenders who received a Rule 35B reduction were more likely to be black at 44.8% than any other racial group. And offenders who received both 5K1 departure and the Rule 35 to be together, they got the double bubble. The reductions were slightly more to be black at 50% than was the overall Rule 35B population. So we ain't just dominating basketball and football. We ain't just dominating basketball and football. Y'all hear what I said? We ain't just dominating basketball and football. Them ninjas is getting busy and telling too. Them ninjas getting busy and telling. I'm going to tell y'all something right now. I hope y'all like, sharing, and subscribing this channel and telling somebody about it. Because right now, we bulldozing that information they talking about. We killing that information. And we got more. we killing that information. Like I said, all it is right now, it done went from Big Meech was a third party cooperator to he told to, oh, he should have did this, that, and the third, to his morals, and now it's in the other cases. Now, all it is a witch hunt. All it is a witch hunt. Because remember what I told y'all, the truth don't need revision. The truth is yesterday, today, and tomorrow. When is anybody going to challenge the information at the scoreboard keepers? You can't. You can't. I can challenge yours though, but you can't. That's not being cocky. It's just because it's about the truth. When you stand on that in the integrity, nothing can happen. Why do you think you don't see people over here in our chat talking crazy? You don't see people over here challenging this. Our chat, I be seeing other people, their chats be going crazy. There be people in there killing them. We keep people in there crushing them. But over here, we don't see, it be chill. It be chill. Because you got to come over here with that scholarship. You better bring that truth over here. You just can't come over here and talking that bubble gum. You can't come over here talking that bubblegum talk. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard the scoreboard. Y'all heard it. Listen, we want to give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High God, not any God, but the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's who we serve over here in truth, okay? We want to thank everybody for coming and joining us tonight, all right? Listen, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Share this video, because like I said, all we doing is destroying the truth, man. And until we see y'all on the next episode of the Scoreboard Keepers, because we got more. Okay? Until then, tune in and score. Peace, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard it. Now tell them to come over here and challenge the information. We coming back tonight with the Mighty Hebrew on the hot seat, y'all. So y'all gonna want to tune in for that. It's Mighty Hebrew. The Mighty Hebrew is going to be on the hot seat. Y'all want to tune in for that. And if that certain individuals out there that challenge them, that tell them to show up, on Tuesday and all that, you might want to watch that too. You might want to, reconcile what you were saying and might want to take it back. So that's what we're going to be doing. All right. We definitely doing that tonight. So until then, y'all.
King of the beat, I said I'm rocking that beat from across the street. Beat Street, the king of the beat. I said I'm rocking that beat from across the street. Beat Street, the king of the beat. I said I'm rocking that beat from across the street. Beat Street is a lesson too. So don't let the street beat you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so before we go, we want to give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High God, not just any God, but the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That God, that's the God we serve, and to him get all the honor, the glory, and the praise of everything that we do over here in truth. All right? So we'll see y'all tonight, man, for the Mighty Hebrew on the hot seat. Until then, we'll see y'all in a little bit. Score.